DNA Sports, number 10. First of all, happy belated 4th of July to all Americans and everybody who's watching and listening. People. And happy 4th. And DNA Sports, you can follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow Joe at Joey Casa with 2 A's at the end, and at my Dave Rosine at Baseball Doc Dave. So there's plenty of places to get a hold of us. And
PhD in baseball, baby.
That's right, baby. Let's talk about some things. First,
teams here.
Firstly, I wanted to talk about something that Hawk Harrelson, the lead broadcaster of the White Sox, been there for over 30 years. And he drives me crazy with a couple things, but this one in particular, he says, bullpens win games. Bullpens, if you don't have a great bullpen, you are not going to be a winning team. And you don't have to have a starting pitcher. It's a bullpen. Well, the White Sox have a pretty good bullpen, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just said the last thing was their second. They stink. And they stink because their starting pitching sucks. It can't get to the bullpen. So Hawk, it's really important to have great starting pitching so you can get to the bullpen by the 7th or 8th inning. If you have a shitty bullpen, you cannot. If you have a shitty starting pitching, you cannot get to the bullpen. Effing bullpen.
Here's the thing, though. It's the same,
I can't take it.
They're interchangeable. You can't. A starting pitcher isn't going to go 9 innings every time, right? But what they do need to do is give.
Do they ever?
Sometimes. Right?
When?
Every now and then. Not if you're talking about the White Sox, never.
No, I mean, okay, let's go back. Let's go back in baseball history. Let's go back in the 50s and 60s when I was growing up. And the starting pitching, sometimes there was, like Bob Gibson one time had 26 complete games. Mm-hmm. Is there anybody, when's the last time somebody had 10 complete games?
Yeah.
In double digit? I mean, it's a different era. I get the bullpen thing, and they work together, but if you don't have good starting pitching,
yeah, well, that's the thing, though.
You'll never get to your bullpen.
With a starting pitcher, you're looking for someone who's going to give you a chance to win, right? And you don't have that if they go 4 innings. They need to give you a solid 6, 7 innings and give the bullpen 3 innings to work with. And you're going to come out with 5, 6 innings left in the game and expect them to finish the game out.
That's what's happening right now. I mean,
and that's why when you say when he says Hawk says that a bullpen is what wins games. That's ridiculous. It's a combination of everything, right? If you have terrible starting pitching, you're not going to win games. If you have a terrible bullpen, you're going to come in and blow games.
What happened, I think it was 2-3 years ago, when their bullpen was absolutely brutal, when they had Sale and Quintana, and they might have had a couple other good guys, and they couldn't finish a game. Sale was up to 120 pitches in the 7th inning, so they had to bring in the bullpen, and it couldn't cover 2 innings. So I get it. I get that you need a good bullpen to win, but if you can't get to the bullpen, you can't win either.
And it's the inverse. They're like bread and butter. Go together. They need each other.
So talk to me about something that we were talking off camera about 2-strike hitting.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So I feel this way a lot. Right? I think throughout my playing career, I helped a lot and levels, and this is one a hitter and a high school hitter. I think that every great hitter the bat strikes, right? To them, it's still batting. To them, they're just it's a challenge, right? It's a competition. They're like, let me see if I can get a hit. Let me see if I can fight something off. They start to they're drooling at the mouth a little bit at the opportunity. And that's where I think separates good hitters, not so good hitters. The fact that when there's 2 strikes.
You prefaced it, great hitters.
Yeah.
To them, they say, now the at-bat starts.
Mm-hmm. This is where the fun begins. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
And that's why great hitters, when they get, as we talked about before, when they get a sharp breaking ball, 0-0, 1-0, 0-1, take it.
Yeah.
Why give me, unless I'm hitting great curveballs for 500, why swing at it? They're in their mind, I got to hold it bat because 2 strikes is not the end of the world, and it really isn't. Let's break it down. At the end of the day, it's a game. You were to strike out. Oh well. But that's their mindset. They're like, it's not the end. I got two. I still got a whole at bat. I got 2 strikes. For all I know, I could be up there for a half hour.
Yeah.
You never know, and that's the mindset they bring to the plate. It changes the way that they perform.
You know the way pitchers like setup hitters. These great hitters set up pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
You can just see it. I watch Miguel Cabrera all the time. He said, "Okay, show me what you've got." Now it's 2 strikes, and now we start. And now I've seen every pitch you're going to throw, and I'm going to lay off the pitches that you think you're going to get me out with, and I'm laying for 1 pitch. And he's done it so many times. Look at his average, his lifetime average, and his power numbers, and his OBP, and all that stuff. It just
and it seriously
that's just one example. I'm sure Mike Trout's numbers are really good, and he's really young.
Yeah,
but these guys set up pitchers.
I mean, you 100% have to have, when you get to that level, for sure, some sort of talent. For sure, without a doubt. But you can improve your game right now if you change your mindset, right? I mean, it's just literally the way you think about things. You need to, when you turn into, all right, now the at-bat starts, you go from being timid to, it's a strike, I got to swing. Hopefully coach is happy that I struck out swinging instead of looking, to, okay, two strikes. That's a curve. I'm fouling this off. I'm fighting. Like I am ready to attack. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the way you should carry yourself just on the field. I mean, when you're a pitcher and you have 2 strikes and you get that opportunity, like you used to have me sometimes drop sidearm and throw a fastball outside or watch the tail, or you can mess with them. You're in control, right? You have control of the at bat.
And that's the difference between high school hitters, bad hitters, and the pros, and these great hitters. Because
and then the same thing though, if you're up 3-0 as a hitter, you're not worried.
No.
Right? But here's what I'll say about that. When you're up 3-0 as a hitter, you're pretending like it's 0-2, it's 0-0, because you should be ready, because every pitch you take is an opportunity to see his pitch, to time him up.
Yeah.
He's down 3-0. He's got to play catch up. So now he's trying to throw you something. So you should be in the box ready to hit. But you better not swing, because I did that one time. I think you almost killed me.
Well, if you're sure you can hit a ball out of the ballpark,
yeah, it's got to be that one very, very special.
I mean, the White Sox, for example, that's our local team. I mean, there's the Cubs too, but we follow the White Sox. And I rarely see them swing 3-0.
Yeah.
And you're right, the pitcher's trying to fight back, and he's going to throw a cookie in there.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to the 2-strike theory, these high school hitters, I would say 90% of them.
Well, the bat's over in their mind.
The bat's over.
It's over.
Now
you have 2 strikes.
There's so many bad
so far in
swings.
the hole.
Right. And they swing off balance. We try to tell our hitters on balance. Don't swing anything off balance, okay? And if you're going to strike out, you're not reaching, but they don't listen. Because they're panicked. They're the ones up the bat. Mm-hmm. And no matter how much you prepare them, 0-2 in their mind, they got to swing at everything.
Yeah.
And they're high fastball, breaking ball low and away, fastball in, fastball 2 balls off the outside corner. They'll swing at anything. And, I would love to see the percentage, their batting average in 0-2, 1-2 situations, mm-hmm. because most of the time our staff gets them out, because we try to develop pitchers in this way. They always trying to throw strikes, but we want to have them throw pitches that look like strikes and end up out of the strike zone. And that's also, you have to develop that too. It just doesn't come to you, well, we'll just do it in a game. No, you have to practice it.
Yeah.
But, just like hitters practice 2-strike hitting, we practice 2-strike pitching. And, it's very useful.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the whole way you approach everything. I mean, from pitch 1, though, you need to be in there ready to hit. Ready to hit. You're telling yourself you're swinging.
Yeah.
And then you're not swinging. The ball, you don't swing. But if you're vice versa, as in you're unsure, you're up there. Maybe he's throwing a fastball inside.
So
who cares?
So
exactly. So when you're truly focused,
but you can't teach that.
Yeah, you just have to come in, believe in that mindset.
You just said what you're supposed to do. I'm gonna kill the first pitch, unless it's not gonna be there. Then I'm gonna take it. I mean, that's selectively aggressive. That's the way to teach hitters the mental approach.
And that's the way to be the most aggressive.
Yes.
Because if you tell yourself, and then this is what I tell some of my players, and I say, look, you got to be drooling at the mouth sometimes, right? You ever see a dog when you throw a steak in front of it and you tell him stay? You tell him stay, dog, stay, boy.
Can't do it.
Right? He's like this.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
He's waiting. He's waiting.
Yeah.
I said, you have to be like that.
Yes.
You have to be like that. And you got to convince yourself
that
he's throwing you a fastball right where you want it. And sometimes you're going to look a little crazy, right? Because you are making yourself believe something that you don't know is going to happen yet, right? So you convince yourself this is what's happening, and you're ready to swing.
Okay, how many times have you've taken wild swings 3-0, 2-0 because you want to hit the ball at the ballpark?
2-0 plenty of times. 3-0 one time popped up.
Well, yeah, but who cares if you swing and miss at 2-0?
And things happen. But
who cares?
Give it your best swing.
Give it your best swing, right?
Yes.
Now, we've focused on that subject a lot, but one other thing that drives me crazy is when these young pitchers, and we're talking, freshman to senior and before that, but I only deal with those kids. They want to throw strikes or they want to get people out. There's a big difference in that. And some of these guys say, well, I'm just trying to throw strikes. What? If you're just trying to throw strikes, you talk about that hitter with or the dog with the steak. Mm-hmm. This is what a hitter is when they're just trying to throw strikes instead of trying to get people out. Hitters know, and you talk about the process. We'll talk about that down the road. But they drive me crazy. I said, you're looking to try to get people out. You're not throwing batting practice for the other team. I mean, throwing strikes are for batting practice. Okay, we need you to throw strikes. Just throw straight balls so they can hit it or get used to the speed. Okay, games are for all different pitches. No, you should be throwing in batting practice. You should be mixing up pitches, but most programs don't do it. We do, but right in the beginning, when you want your timing down, you just want to get some strings. You throw straight pitches, but then you get into that. But you don't want to do that in a game.
Yeah, what you want to do is locate and movement.
Yes, locate with action, movement, and with command, and you just attack targets hard. And then what we just talked about, you find a pitch or pitches that look like strikes and end up out of strike zone. I prefer two of them, but we're lucky in high school to get one guy that can do it or two guys that can do it. But we prefer all our pitchers have a pitch where it looks like a riding fastball, a super sinker, a curveball in the dirt, and you trust your catcher, or a slider that goes way away. Okay, something that to the hitter it looks like a strike, and they'll strike out on it. High school hitters will strike out every time on it. Wood bat, aluminum bat, doesn't matter.
Here's what I'll say though, I believe in getting ahead. Right, it's important to get ahead. You fall behind 2-0, 3-0, you're digging yourself a further hole. Having the tenacity come back, that's a whole different story. But you don't just get ahead by laying a meatball, because when you face good hitters that have the mindset that we're talking about, where they're ready to swing, you can just decide, I'm going to throw a strike, going to get hit out of the park. You need to throw strikes with location and movement, with precision, right?
Yes.
This kid pulls off the ball. You're trying to paint the black, the outside. You're going to throw a two-seam that looks like it's over the plate. It's going to come to the outside.
And just think.
You're going to backdoor him.
Okay. I mean, that's perfect. But if we played with wood bats in high school, what you just said would just be magnified, that kids couldn't hit. You have to have the right approach as a hitter, and as a pitcher, I'm going to throw pitches off the plate because these guys can't hit with wood, because nobody's used to hitting with wood. They have to hit it off the barrel of the bat, and they have to have really good mechanics, a really good approach. So to that point, I was the head coach of the Chicago Junior All-Stars and a junior showcase against New York City's public schools. Okay, we played it this past weekend at UIC, and we won 4-0 on Friday and 2-1 on Saturday. And in the second game, we had a really good pitcher closing the game, and they loaded the bases. And this guy was he was really good, but he got on the side of a curveball, and one of the kids hit it against the wall and put runners on second and third. And then he walked the next guy and went out and talked to him. I said, just attack your target. you're trying to be too fine. You're nibbling, and this kid had a great arm, and and told him the specific spots to throw because we didn't think these guys could hit it away or out of the strike zone. And so he struck out the last 2 hitters to end the game because he just went after him, and then he threw a pitch that looked like a strike and ended up out of the strike zone. Mm-hmm. And with Wood, if you're not perfect, these guys were going around the baseball. They didn't stay inside the ball. They stepped in the bucket, and the game was over.
With Wood,
and they scored 1 run in 16 innings. We played 7 innings the first game and 9 innings the second game. And it's really hard with Wood bats to center the ball or get anything going. I mean, we need errors or you need solid hitting. It's not like aluminum where, okay, you make a great pitch, it goes off the handle and it's still a base hit down a left field line or a little blooper or whatever.
Error with Wood bats.
Errors with Wood bats.
The approach that all these high schoolers take to hitting, you can bring your outfielders in behind second base, behind shortstop.
That's what they did.
That's what's going to happen.
Well, we happened to they hit a bomb, and we happened to be it was a third, fourth place hitter, and the guy caught a hold of it. And with Wood, if you hit it on the barrel, it's going to go.
Yeah,
and we ran it down because it's not like aluminum where the ball gets out of the air quickly. It hung, and the guy ran under it. Guy's pretty fast. He made a good catch. It made it look routine, but that was really the only hard hit that they had until the 9th inning. And, it makes for a game where you have to bunt, you have to hit and run, you have to steal, and you have to be solid defensively because pitching's going to dominate. Like, it's almost like the 68 season when the mound was 15 inches high and Bob Gibson won the ERA with 1.12 in the National League and Louis Tiant 1.6 in the American League. So until they lowered them out, it's going to be a pitcher's game. And in high school, if we went to Wood bats, it would be a pitcher's game and defensive game. And that's why it's really important as coaches to teach hitting the right way, also teach pitching the right way. But especially if you have Wood bats, you have to teach hitting all differently.
But that proves the point. Just like
you're talking about process.
This is how much coaches fail to stress the mindset and how little players practice a mindset, right?
Right.
You can go in and be a robot every day. Look at America. Look at all the jobs in America. They're robotic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyone could go in and hit off the tee every day and have a good swing. But why are you 0 for 20? Why is your on-base percentage 150? There's intangible factors here that we're not seeing.
You just said it.
Right? It's a mindset.
Okay.
It's all a mindset.
Yeah, but you just said it. Okay. How can you hit as a robot? Okay, that means, to me, robotic means one plane swinging. Okay, so if the ball moves and you swing on one plane all the time as a robot, you can't hit because any kind of movement, you're out.
Exactly. It's it. I mean, I couldn't trust that. I mean, I feel strongly just about the way a player takes because...
Well, you were such an athletic hitter because you had to be. And you were like flexible and the ball would move. Okay, the ball fooled me, but you're one of the rare hitters. And again, this is not taught. I'm going to foul that off on purpose so I can get another pitch to hit. And very few hitters do that. I mean, okay, the pitcher made a good pitch. I tip my hat, and he's not going to strike me out, but I couldn't handle that pitch. So you'd hit a foul ball off to the left side. Or you'd pull that. And you see so many things in the pros where they top a ball down their strong side line. Okay, so you were a lefty hitter, so you would hit a ground ball down the first baseline foul. Okay, and then the next pitch, you got a pitch you can handle, base it up the middle. And that's, to me,
that's what it's about.
To me, it's great
just
hitting.
Deciding to battle, to make the decision, to fight until you have an advantage, right? If I don't like this pitch, right. I'm going to let it travel, and I'm going to hit it. I don't know. I can't guarantee it's going to go foul. But I'm going to try to knock it off.
Right.
Maybe it goes fair. I hustle one out. Who knows?
Right.
But that's to make that choice, to fight until you get your pitch.
Right.
Because he's going to make a mistake. That's the hardest thing about baseball is to focus every second.
They say usually major league pitchers make one mistake per at bat. Now, how many mistakes do you think high school pitchers make per at bat?
2 to 3 at least.
Okay, and how about in college?
I would say 1 to 2.
Okay.
In college, at least, I know for me at the Division III level, while they didn't throw extremely hard, they can spot up.
Right.
But they still gave me a pitch, and if I missed it, I knew that was my one. But with 2 strikes, and if I battle the 2 strikes, like almost 2 at bats,
right?
And then you get another pitch,
right?
So it's having that.
And when the pitcher has an off day, no matter whether it's a pros, college, or high school, and off days, I mean, the stuff is the same, but they miss their spots, then they're going to have a short day.
So I guess that leads us to what we were talking about. We were talking about like the process, and just real quickly, I mean, what we're talking about, having a mindset, having a strategy, this stuff just doesn't take place at your at bat. I mean, you need to preach this. You need to practice this. You're going to the cage to swing. You're not taking, like, that's not batting practice. When people think batting practice, they're like swing at every pitch. Right? They should be in there with an approach with their mindset. Even when you're throwing batting practice, just he's throwing a fastball down the middle and I'm pounding it. And if he throws it at your neck, unless you're practicing a hit and run, lay off of it. Right? So that's why I'll say my coach in college called it pitch selection practice, because he would try to make it resonate with guys that it's not about swinging at every pitch. It's about when you do swing at the right pitch, you drive it. And so it's more about, it's not about what you want the result to be. It's about the strategy to get that result and then following that religiously.
Well,
when you're in the off season, you do what you have to do to get better. Your college coach's philosophy basically mirrors the Yankees and the Red Sox, and that's why their games are 4 hours long, because they don't swing at pitches unless they're there. Yeah.
And so, the pitchers beat them a lot, but there's a lot of grinding, a lot of full counts.
And that wears the pitcher down.
You
want to talk about a bullpen or a starting rotation winning the game?
There's so many pitchers being used in those games, and they wear out pitchers. And those games are boring because both teams just take so many pitches because they want to wear out the other pitcher. And,
me personally, I don't want to swing at something that I'm not hitting for 500.
The Cubs are like that too. I mean,
yeah. If you're not going to throw me my pitch, I'm not going to swing at it. And if I have 2 strikes, you better get ready.
Well, I happen to like that, especially at the high school level, because you can grind them up so easily.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And then you get some deep baller relief in. Some guys throw 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, and high school bullpens, they never warm up. They come in, a lot of them are playing the field. Okay, going to relief. They're going to be wild.
Yeah, and that's why if you take the right approach, set yourself up for success. Especially if, like, let's say you're lacking talent. Where can you improve right now? Right here.
Right there.
Right?
Yeah.
So the physical aspect takes time, right? The robotic repetition aspect. But the mindset, that can change. Something can happen to you today and you'd be like, holy shit. Maybe it's this. Maybe someone watches this and they say, oh, makes sense.
It's such a mental game.
But once it clicks, that's it. It's the end game.
What's the percentage of baseball you think is mental?
Honestly, like they always say that 90%, 10%, all that. I think it's more than that. Just the mental aspect, got to be at least 95%.
You know how easy it is for
unless you're a pitcher,
a high school player to lose confidence in himself. A guy could get 5 or 6 hits in a row and he strikes out once and he comes back in the dugout. He's acting crazy.
Yeah.
I said, guy made a good pitch. The umpire made a suspect call. Made a bad swing, forget about it. But they can't. A lot of them can't. The best ones just say, I don't care. But the ones who are like always wavering, and that's the majority.
Yeah. The
middle ground, where if they can get, hey, I had a double and 2 singles, and then a ground ball back to the pitcher, or a pop-up, or a strikeout. And they come back and say, what did I do wrong?
And what do they think about, though? What happened? But they didn't think about what happened during that bat, right? Did you pop out on the first pitch? What happened? What were you thinking? Why did you swing at it? Or did you pop out after a 12-pitch at-bat?
Right.
That's still a pretty damn good at-bat.
Right.
Of course nobody wants to pop out. But did you think about, right, what did I do right there? What did I do wrong there? And how am I going to get this pitcher back?
Instead of thinking a negative, what did you hit for the 2 doubles and the single? No, they want to focus on what you just said.
Let's see, when I hit a double, I remember, right? And that's when you're fully paying attention.
Right.
You know the difference between popping up and hitting a double in the gap.
Yeah, well, and then the next bat, he got another double. He said, well, I knew he wasn't going to throw me a fastball, so I changed it up and I looked off speed even though I'm not supposed to, because I knew the first pitch was going to be off speed, and he doubled off the wall.
But there's a thing, though, right?
But it's mental.
He knew it. He knew it, even though he didn't know it, right? Because you could never truly know.
No.
But he was so convinced in that instance that he got an off speed, and so that's my point in terms of your approach: to be convinced every time that you're gonna get what you want.
Yeah, and as coaches,
and that's aggressive, I mean,
as coaches,
ball and dirt, anything.
As coaches, the kid got a double off a pitch that I missed the strike zone on. But why give up on that pitch? Okay, so the fastball was supposed to be away, it was in. So I'm just going to go back because the scouting report says he can't hit the pitch away. So I'm going to go away and I'm going to trust my pitcher that he can hit that spot. Rather than say, okay, he hits any fastballs possible, we're going to throw a curveball, which a lot of people do. Hey, guys on my coaching staff do it, and it drives me crazy. No, you go back to first of all, what are your pitcher's strengths? And if he doesn't have a good breaking ball, why would you want to throw your third or fourth best pitch after a kid got a hit off your best pitch because you missed a spot?
Yeah.
You go right back. You have to have this ultimate confidence. And again, that's up here.
Yeah.
And it's got to be reinforced by us as coaches.
That's huge too. And then just in life, right? Because like in terms of confidence, right? Let's say you're struggling with a curveball today. Well, where's your confidence going to be when it gets called? And then second, why not always play to your strengths first and their weaknesses second, right?
Yes.
Why throw my weakness at your weakness?
Right.
I'm going to give you my best, and then your weakness second.
Right.
So say you love hitting a fastball, but my fastball's on today. I'm giving you my fastball today. That you're getting.
They can't hit.
And we'll figure out what's going to
happen. High school hitters can't hit all four quadrants. Okay, so my fastball's good today. So therefore, maybe he likes the ball, inside. I'm going to just pound him away. And then when he's looking away, then I'll go right at his strengths. Meanwhile, you didn't deviate from your best pitch.
Yeah. That's huge. I didn't think of that till just now, honestly. But
that's great.
It's like, of course, it makes sense. And you should do it naturally. It's like, why throw something that's not working, regardless of what the hitter's good at hitting? Or batting, right? Your approach. Why I say I'm going to hunt a curveball just because you're throwing a lot of curveballs. It better be a hanging curveball if you're not good at hitting curveballs.
Well, I remember this game last year that what we're just talking about. We were beating this team by a run, and I wasn't calling pitches. And the guy who was calling pitches is a hitter. He was a hitter in college. And the first batter got a hit off a fastball. And the kid was throwing, just had an average or below average curveball. He stopped throwing fastballs. So they scored 7 runs that inning. Because his best pitch, one hit because of one hit. So you can't give up on players, number one, and a game plan, number 2, and what the pitcher throws best, number 3. You can't give up on it just because, hey, sometimes you tip your hat to the hitter, say, hey, he got a hit off a good pitch. Sometimes even if you hit your spot, the guy gets a hit. So what? So what?
Sometimes
you want to throw your third or fourth best pitch and just get your brains beat in?
I mean, sometimes you leave a meatball over a plate and he swings and misses. Or sometimes you leave a meatball over a plate and he rips it at your face and you catch it. He's out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen, so play to your strength.
Yeah, and you know what? High school players don't know this. It's up to the coaches to teach them what this is about.
Yes.
And, as coaches, the mental aspect of the game, which we've been talking about for 30 minutes here, is really extremely essential.
Well, that's the difference between players who perform and they don't. I mean, I don't know. You probably heard me say this before. We talk about why, the difference between high school and college, right? The number of at-bats that are given away. Right?
Yes.
When you give an at-bat away, it's because it was sitting on your shoulders. It had nothing to do with the 100 swings you took the day before. It was up here. Why didn't you pull the trigger?
Right.
You know how to swing the bat. You
Right.
practice every day.
Right.
So, I mean, the number of at-bats that you're giving away is completely a result of what's
But
going on.
it's for us.
Yeah.
We have to teach that to players
You have to preach it.
Most of them are just into the physical. But when the physical breaks down, are they tough enough mentally to overcome the physical and still grind out a hit? Or as a pitcher, grind out an appearance, grind out a relief appearance, grind out a start that you don't have your best stuff, but you locate, you change speeds. It's up to the pitcher, the pitching coach, the regular coach to reinforce this all the time. So
Great stuff. I mean, that's what competition is.
yeah,
That's competition, right? Winning, everyone's always talking about winning. It's just, no, it's competition, right? Winning doesn't exist without competition, without competing. If I don't go out there and compete, what do I ever win?
nothing.
You got to live for the challenge of somebody stepping up to you and saying, I'm going to strike you out. And you're going to say, oh, you're not. Right? I'm going to step up to this plate and I'm going to give you everything I have.
There's a lot of kids that play this game, play basketball, play football. I don't know how you can't be competitive in football that aren't competitive.
And you have people trying to hurt you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I mean, they're coming at you with their bodies.
But you know, I as a guy who's played sports my whole life and specifically baseball and basketball, I always wanted to win no matter what I did. You know, and I didn't realize that I was a minority. And there's very few, you know, you do this to win. You cover a base the right way. You're not a jerk about it, but hey, you do whatever it takes to win. You're not out there to say, hey, I'm going to throw batting practice for your hitters so you can kick the shit out of me. That's what we're talking about between throwing strikes and getting people out. No, I'm going to compete my ass off. And, you know, I'm as a basketball player, I'm not going to let you just walk to the basket. I'm going to just stay in front of you. And if I have to be physical, I'll be physical. And, you know, just do whatever it takes within the rules. I mean, you know, competition brings out some dirty play.
Yeah.
But we weren't brought up that way. We compete.
But
you know,
the dirty play, it's a result of...
I would say aggressive play rather than dirty.
Yeah, okay. Because, I mean, if you're talking about dirty players in terms of, like, cheating, you know, maybe...
Dirty play is, for example, when Michael Jordan chased John Stockton all over the court, because when Michael Jordan went up for a jump shot, John Stockton would put his foot underneath Michael Jordan's feet, wanting to sprain his ankle. Now, that's dirty. That's what happened to Kawhi Leonard this year. I think Patrick Beverley put his foot underneath his foot and injured his foot. So that I remember that, and Michael Jordan chased him all over. That's dirty.
Yeah.
And Larry Bird was dirty. Okay, and he's the first one to admit it. Kevin McHale was dirty. These guys were old Celtic guys because they couldn't keep up. So they would grab, hold, muscle, and the referees let them get away with it. So because they were stars. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about aggressive play that, you know, it's not dirty, but it looks like it.
It's the never...
Was that Rizzo play that knocked over that catcher? Was that dirty?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so.
He went out of his way to knock him over, but he was just trying to get a run. I mean, he's still out.
Yeah.
But the kid, I think he had a concussion or he was out, but he had to take him out of the game. But I didn't think it was overly dirty. It was an aggressive play that didn't work. And, you know, I'd give any Cub shit, but
because for sure, when you see a dirty play, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a fine line between, and like everyone,
he just tried to run him over.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Cubs fan, you're gonna say, no, absolutely wasn't dirty. If you're the other team, oh yeah, that was dirty. But there's a fine line for everything. But the point is, if coaches breed that atmosphere where kids are learning to be true to themselves, where they can honestly say,
"Ooh, that's a good point," because there's coaches that preach dirty play.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's an atmosphere, right? We talk about this all the time, and I'll say it until I'm deaf. I'll say it until I'm deaf. It's about the atmosphere, the culture, the environment, right? You got to breed the right atmosphere, and the kids got to buy in. I mean, learn who they are so that you can do what's necessary, right? It's maybe a way your coaching isn't taking. So, I mean, it just all depends. I mean, it really comes down to what do kids believe in? This is what we're talking about.
Yeah,
winning teams.
We'll go back to your high school. When I got there in 2006, there was no culture. We bred nothing. I mean, and I came in from another high school, and it was just an afterthought. Baseball was an afterthought for kids who just want to play in the spring, and we changed the whole mindset and culture, and you know, made it serious, and we're a serious program. But you know, it didn't take long. But the first day, we you set the ground rules. This is the way you come to practice. This is the way you dress. You're going to be required to show up every day. And public school baseball is basically undisciplined. We brought discipline I coached 2 Catholic schools. We brought Catholic school different discipline, public school, and it worked.
Yeah.
It might not work at every public school, but it worked at our school. And plus, every player bought in.
That's huge. That's the biggest part, because you can have one outlier.
But they wanted to win.
You can have one outlier that's enough to be interested in the
Right.
rest
And
of the team.
you still see all these guys, and they're not imposing physically, but they were all on the same baseball page.
Yeah.
They knew baseball. They bonded together, and we've won 7 regionals and 3 sectionals, and since 2006 for a school that started with 700 kids. Now there's 1,800, but all the great teams were where we had 700 kids in the school.
Oh, that was great. I like that. Signing off here, guys. Like, subscribe, comment, call us out, tell us we're bullshitting you, and we'll definitely reply to that.
And we do swear because it is an adult sports show, and so don't worry about it. But for Dave and Joe, see you next time.